welcome to another Magical Moon video. As you can see, it has been a very busy morning collecting hay for the horses. At the moment our farmer is extremely busy, so he's not able to drop it off, so the boys went this morning and collected it for us. We've had a few questions on the comments that I've been going through, and I've collected together the ones that I think we're going to answer now in the video for you today. And one of the most important questions is obviously a little bit about Nick, but unfortunately that's quite a long story, isn't it?
It is a little bit, a tad involved, and I think to do everyone justice, including myself, it would be better. We've spoke about it, and I think it would be good just to do a segment on both Jenny and I, and my life, and then how we met, and then where we're at now, because there's a lot to cover. It is quite a broad subject, but yeah, we'll do that in the coming videos.
We're going to. So sorry to disappoint that we can't answer it right now, but we're going to do it in the coming video, because as Nick said, it is definitely a better thing to do a video on, because we can show you videos and footage and photos of from before. One of the other questions was, is Toby looking to join the fire brigade, or is he a firefighter? Toby is just 16, or just about to turn 16, and no, currently he's not a firefighter. It is something he's into. The t-shirt that you would be the t-shirt that you have seen him wearing is actually, my brother is a firefighter for Merseyside, so he gets his memorabilia and his stuff from my brother, and he is just looking into joining the cadets out here, isn't he? So yeah. What they call the fire...
the Pompiers, they're called here in France. But yeah, so Jenny's brother is a Merseyside firefighter back in the UK, and that sparked Toby's interest.
Sparked. Very good.
Boom, boom. And there's plenty more where that came from. Right, so the next question is...
So Grace in her heyday.
Yes. So we don't, as you may or may not know, we're very, very passionate about maintaining our professionalism, and part of that is protecting the horses in every aspect, and more importantly not revealing their true identity, unless of course, like Cantho, like Epalan and some of the other superstars or the other horses, that it's already public knowledge, because we don't want to jeopardize anything for them now or in the future. So Grace, we're still unsure of exactly what her history is. We do know part of it, and part of it is to do with some breeding, which I'll let Jenny tell you about.
Yeah, so Grace was, what I found out so far, her and Charlotte have been together for 20 years. And Grace has been what is called, she's a breeding mare, so she would have had, so in the very beginning of her career, she was working, show jumping, doing all the sort of bits and pieces to prove herself as a good quality horse. She then went on to have her own foals with stallions, so she'd have gone on to be a mum. But then she stopped having foals with stallions naturally. She then became something called a surrogate mare. So that is where horses that so mares that are really competing well and doing really, really well in the show jumping or whatever the sphere is industry, they don't want to take them out of work and put them in foal, because obviously that's 11 months of them being out of work.
Sorry, or more importantly, surrogacy is also about a point where a horse that might be, or the same in the human world, might be capable, might be jumping, but might not be actually capable of carrying a foal. So surrogacy is one of those really big aspects where people look for potential surrogate mothers, and Grace fitted the bill. So we know that little bit about her.
So what we know is that her last 4 foals were all surrogate foals. So they were foals that weren't hers. They were just put in her for her to then continue to have foals. And then we know that obviously at some point she could no longer, a horse's window, a bit like a human, they only have so long that they can take a foal for and physically carry a foal for. Her window, she's now 28, and clearly that had ended. And for whatever reason, Grace and Charlotte found themselves where they were. Charlotte, we don't really know. She has very good breeding. She is a good. I think personally that Charlotte, basically, as they've demonstrated here, Grace won't live without Charlotte. So they had no choice but to keep Charlotte.
If they wanted Grace, they had to have Charlotte as well, which is really, really cool, because Charlotte is very, very feisty. Like I said, she's beautiful. As I said before, she's shining like a conker now.
She's 100% the reason why Grace is still alive.
You'd never, and if you even
100%.
think about that separation, they're only separated by a maximum of 6 foot diagonally, and they just have Ginger in between, and that's just about as far as it could go. So any more than that would have been impossible, hence why they're together. So back to the question, we don't know her history, but we have other horses' histories which we'll share with you in the future, and we can show you them in their heyday, and we can explain a bit about them. And exactly that. Sometimes, as with Ginger, we've actually crossed paths with Ginger's ex or old owner, who's over the moon about where she is now and what's happening, but bewildered and bemused as to
and
how
completely mortified.
yeah, and how she ended up where she did, because she truly loved her and thought
she'd done the right thing by Ginger.
And hence why we're doing what we're doing here at the Legends, which is to prevent those situations from happening. So she's another really good case study, and as a really good example, when we do go to these powers that be, we can say, look, this is it, and we can demonstrate exactly what happens, and even with notes from old owners who have genuinely tried to do the right thing. So as
Cinderella was another one.
Exactly,
Cinderella's owner
that.
well, obviously Cinderella's passed now, but Cinderella's owner contacted us and was just completely and utterly like, how on earth did this happen to her? That's the point. That's the question. That is what this entire YouTube channel is about. So anyway, we won't go into that because we have another question here. Recipe. Can I add the recipe from the boys cooking? I will do that. I will do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add it on our Facebook page. So we've got a Facebook page called The Moons, and we've also got a Instagram page called The Moons. I'm just going to write the recipes down and put them in on a post so you can see them there. So if you go and have a follow, I'll add the links in the top comment of this video so you can see. So click on that and you'll find the recipe. So but bear with me because I've got to write it and then put it on. So give me 24 hours, let's say, because I've still got to edit this video.
It'd be lovely to say there's a cookbook coming, but at this moment in time there are other pressing issues, but maybe one day.
But you'll have the recipe. It's coming. The next one is selling portraits or sketches of the horses.
Yeah, okay, so any kind of merchandise or selling stuff, we've been very considered about it, and we've spoken in depth about it. Yes, we'd love to do something, and selling the sketches of the horses is a fantastic idea, and it's something we're looking into because it'd be lovely to share, one, for us to be able to have those beautiful portraits of the horses, but also to be able to share them with you guys. And if you wanted one, or you wanted to make the set of the Legends, and as it evolves, obviously there will be others, so that's something that's really exciting, and we're definitely looking into.
We are. Melissa's been fantastic. She's been looking into the merchandise as well, but as we've said, just at the moment we kind of want to just keep it a little bit small. We're concentrating on the channel, we're concentrating on the horses, and hopefully as and when things happen we'll be able to share a little bit more. But I think in the coming weeks we've got some exciting news, haven't we, that we might be able to share with you. But again, we'll just have to wait and see on that one. So the next one is, I haven't got my glasses, or I have them on my head, hold on.
What is
the foundation in the field?
We don't know. It could be anything. We've done a little bit of a dig, and Toby's found a few bits, and Jenny went out yesterday and went with the kids and went for a while longer than what she originally anticipated, because
it was such good fun. It was so addictive.
There's so much out there.
I found buckles, like shoe buckles, in the middle of nowhere, and there were buckles from shoes, quite a few as well. I mean, there must have been a lot of people walking around at some point.
In answer, we don't know, but we're just trying to use our imagination, which is never ending. So it could be a dragon sleeping nest area, it could be anything, could be a UFO, could be a Spitfire, could be loads of stuff. But as we said before, the most important thing is we're going to try and get, or if you know or anyone knows any budding archaeologists out there, that would be fantastic. But in the meantime, we're just researching the local area and trying to get historians and just piece together what actually happened, and that then hopefully will lead into a picture of what
we know. The Romans were here, don't we?
Yeah.
We know the Romans were, because literally you'll see, I think it's called Going to Lunch with Our Neighbours, or Meeting Our Neighbours for Lunch.
It's ages ago. We did a wicked video.
It was a long while ago. Literally over there is they've uncovered a Roman villa.
Yeah,
it's incredible, and it's just there. So there could be anything that it could be, but what we do know is it's not the sort of thing you find in your back garden. So hopefully it's something very exciting. And as we say, once we get someone that knows what they're actually looking at involved, it'll be good.
Yeah, so it'd be ideal would be a Viking ship in the big field, a Spitfire in the middle area where you're talking about, and then up the top
a Roman Colosseum.
Yeah, or a UFO. Either or.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We'll go for any of those. So if you think you've noticed that, please come stay. So the next one is Cushing's disease.
Yes,
We had a lovely lady ask about her horse and Cushing's disease.
Yeah, and that's really it's a very broad subject. As you know, Max has the condition, and it affects him in many different ways. And at the moment, Max is on a drug that is called Presend, which my very good horse Khan used to be on because he had the same condition. And it's one of those things, it's a routine, so it's one a day, and it keeps it at bay. It just doesn't get, or it hopefully doesn't get any worse. It never goes away, so it's just keeping it at bay. So Cushing's with Presend is an effective treatment for Max. However, we have to say it would be by veterinary advice, and obviously any research you do be guided by the professionals. But yes, it is a broad subject, but just in essence, the Presend is the drug that Max is on, and he has one a day.
And he has regular blood tests as well to make sure that the levels are right. So it's a little bit like, I suppose the best way to describe it for humans is a bit like diabetes. So it's just getting those levels right. So at the moment, his levels are good. He's on a tablet a day, but that could change.
Yeah, and I think on an interesting note is you guys might have seen the rescue of Grace and Charlotte, and one of the first things we did when they arrived was to take the bloods, and what that means is it gives us that datum which we talk about, so that we know where the bloods are at, and then we have another blood test to see where they have got to, and that then starts to form a picture, so that any time in history, if we draw bloods off any of the legends or any of the horses, what that means is that we know if it's within the parameters of what is considered normal for that horse. So that's really, really important. I think it's really important to stress that with all the animals, you have to have that that line to be able to compare to and from. So that's one of the things we do here, and that's really handy, especially with the older guys, is that part of the management.
Amazon wish list is coming. I'm running out of supplements. The legends need supplements, but the only way I can get them is on the French one. So if you're good at French, or you can sort of like translate it to English, then you might be able to do it. But I will update the French Amazon wish list for the legends, because currently with everything else, you've been amazing. Everybody that has donated via the Amazon wish list, we are just amazing. We at the moment, we are very, very comfortable with stuff that the legends need. As I say, the only thing that's an ongoing thing is the supplement. So I'll pop those on the French one and add a link in the description. The last but not least is to say hello to Mason. So Mason is 2 years old, and we got an email from his mum to say that he watches and he really, really enjoys the video, and he's very, very fond of Oscar Robin, who is 1, about to turn 2 in December. So we'd just like to say a big hello to Mason, and hope this video sends you to a nice deep sleep and gives your mummy some time off. I know the feeling, mummy.
Exactly, and the best bit about that is when Jenny mentioned about becoming 2, we have had 3 boys before, Rupert being the 4th, and they talk about terrible 2s. I'm not sure that baby Oscar might be the first one to really define what that means. So there's lots to look forward to. I think it's going to get messy, but enjoy the ride.
It's been a bit of an eye opener today. We were we both sort of sat there and looked at each other. They've always been quite good. We've had 3 boys, and they've always been
okay.
And there's no wood. See, ruined. They've always been okay, but Oscar today showed another level, didn't he?
Oh, bless him. He's going to keep us all, and he'll be plenty of enjoyment, good content for you guys to just watch him develop and blossom. So anyway, we'll see how that goes.
Enjoy the rest of the video, and we will see you very soon.
See you soon.
Bye.